Welcome back. Let's talk about Fitballs. I remember I've been a physio that long. I remember when they came in and I thought, wow, what an interesting idea that we could actually turn a chair into a piece of movement equipment. I thought it was brilliant. And what I have seen with many things in rehab is that we get this great piece of kit. Everyone uses it for a while, everyone buys it, and then it sits in the lounge room, sits in the cupboard, and we forget all about it until there's a resurgence and a resurrection of the piece of equipment, and we go, oh, that's right, I used to have one of them. And then we go on that cycle again with the next thing and the next thing. Well, I was trolling the internet as I do, looking at alternatives to sitting options. I think for a back that's in pain, many of you will have a back that either loves to sit or hates to sit. So, if you have a back that just doesn't enjoy sitting, and unfortunately you have a desk job that requires you to sit for 8 hours, you can be in a real pickle. That's not a fun place to be. So, I wanted to do a video on bringing back the Fitball, but not just any Fitball. I love these beautifully designed balls. This brand's Esfera. They have the most magnificent color range. And I also love that they have this corduroy fabric. And I love that they have this base, which means when you put the ball down, it doesn't run off on you. And I think that's a really cool feature, particularly if you're using a ball in an office or corporate space. Because if they're rolling everywhere, they can actually be a trip hazard. So having that little base makes it sit where you leave it, which is great. So if we have a cool looking ball that matches our interior and effectively becomes part of our interior space, then it makes moving so much easier. You don't have to get on and off the floor to do exercises. So specifically, let me give you some really quick ideas about if you grab a ball and you have a desk related job, or even if you don't, but if you're looking for ways to move that feel therapeutic for your back while you're on a ball, let me give you some ideas. There's many, and this is a very short video, and we won't possibly be able to get to all of them, but these will be some nice little starting movements for you. When you sit on your ball, let's make sure that you choose a ball where the height of your hips is above your knees. If this ball were much lower and my knees were sitting up about here, then I would go into a bit of a backward tilt, which would start to build a bit more pressure in my back than ideally we would want. So I would advise you blow up your ball to such a height that your hips are well above your knees. Then I would remember that if I sit with my thighs together, it's going to limit the amount of motion I can access in my spine. So if I happen to be wearing slacks and I can open out my legs, then even just taking the feet really wide and feeling what it's like to move from your right foot to your left foot is going to be a really nice way to open up your hips. If you turn your feet out and you do that same exercise, you'll notice that it increases the stretch through the groin. If you turn your feet in, you'll notice it feels very different yet again. So find a placement of your feet where you feel comfortable, and then you can just do things like trace circles of your pelvic tissues around a circle made by your base of support. So I'm really just moving to the back. I'm moving over to my right foot. I'm moving through the center. I'm moving to my left foot. That's keeping me connected. But if I let all of me go, then there isn't much spinal motion It's more of a hip motion. If I hold my upper chest still and I just move my bottom half, then it's a pelvic spinal motion emphasized. So you get to choose basically what feels nice on your back and in your body. If we're going side on, you can see the wider I take my feet, the more my pelvis falls forward into an anterior tilt, which then basically, as long as I stay upright in my body, I can sit really tall and there's no effort going on there at all. It's a passive movement almost. If I bring my legs back, my pelvis tends to drop back a bit. If I bring my legs together, my pelvis drops back even more, just because of the action of the hips on our pelvis. So again, choose a foot position that makes your pelvis feel comfortable. And then we can practice just things like slumping, where we let our rib cage drop down and our pelvic pubic bone lift up, which is a big squeezing of my abdominals. It's also a bit of a lengthening of my back muscles. And then I'm going to rise high. When I rise high, I'm activating my back extensors and I'm lengthening the front of my abdomen. So that gentle rocking motion, which I call slump correct, can be small. It could be this small, where you almost see nothing happening. Or it could be big, where I really work flexion and extension. How would I know what movement to do? I would hope by now, after listening to me for a while, you will know the answer, which is it'll be the movement range that feels good. If I go into this and I get a sharp ping in my back, then please don't do it. It's not useful. If I go down a little bit and it feels comfortable, great. That's all I'm going to do. If I lift up and I get to there and it starts to hurt, then that's going to be the range in which I work. But any movement is better than no movement. So if you're sitting and you just lock and load in one spinal position all day, you will get postural fatigue. Muscles will tighten, muscles will weaken, joints will dehydrate, the fascia will forget to slide, and then it's not going to take much for you to get up and move in a wrong angle, and things that aren't used to being moved will rip, tear, strain. It's just how our systems work. So Slump Correct is a really nice one. Combine it with some circles around your feet, either moving from your pelvis or keeping your rib cage still or moving from your whole body. You get to play. Then while we're on our side, we can go into something where I bring my left leg off the ball and I can just basically work this knee into extension. I can pull my abdomen tight, so I'm getting a really nice hip flexor stretch. And I can lunge. I can hold all that while I move sideways, move laterally. I could raise this arm. I could open up that space. Most of my weight's been taken by my right buttock, but I get to play with stretches. I could add rotation. I could even come down onto that side and open up the other side. I can rotate left and right, get some big spinal twists happening. I can pivot and roll to the other side, tuck, hold, work the knee. I get some really nice length through the front here. And then I can add my spinal mobility by reaching sideways, by going into rotation, whatever feels nice. And then I'm back. If I simply want to feel a little bit of more motion and mobility through the upper back and shoulders, I could simply take my hands and place them behind my head and I can just turn my chest. This time I could work holding my core tight, anchoring my feet, and literally just rotating my chest to the left and to the right and feeling like I hold my belly button still. That is a nice way to get our obliques to work. And then we can use the same principle to open up the sides This is both a stretch and a strengthen. We can do some diagonals where we curl down. I could go on forever. There's so many movements. This is another nice one where we turn the hands back, we squeeze our shoulder blades together, we reach our arms behind, and we're lifting into a high degree of extension. And then the opposite where we spiral, bring our pinkies together, we round out our back, we pull our shoulder blades forward, we drop into a big slump, and we round the back. And working from full extension into full flexion is really lovely for the tennis elbows, the carpal tunnels, all of the shoulder mobility, all done while sitting on a ball. We could do the head drop where we just basically let our hands slide down the front of the ball into a nice big roll down, keeping our head relaxed and then rolling back up. Again, just such a nice one to lengthen out the back line. There's so much to do on a ball. We could do another session on glutes and laying backwards, doing thoracic mobility, upright, doing glute stability. You will find hundreds and hundreds of Fitball exercises. But yeah, I guess the point of the video is to resurrect it. Go online, esfera.com, look at the range, look at the colors. Grab one and put it in your office space at home, put it in your kids' bedroom, your teen's bedroom. This one's pink. This is going in my daughter's bedroom. Not because I've pitched it as movement, but I've pitched it as how pretty is the color. It's going to match your decor, which hopefully now while she's studying, she'll be just jostling around, doing a little bit more movement through her hips and her pelvis. Any movement is better than none, and I think we need to maximize opportunities, create internal spaces where we're inclined to move without consciously having to carve out time to exercise. If it's there, you're sitting on it, your body naturally does what a body does, it moves. And that is what we want in our home environment, our office environment, our school environment. So yeah, check out esfera.com and bring back the beautiful new flashly looking lovely designed Fitball. There's some ideas for you. As always, listen to your body. Any movement you do that's painful is not a good movement to do. Any movement you do that feels lovely is a good movement to do. Keep it simple. Listen to the sensations in your body and be guided by those as to what movements you should feed your body and what movements we don't want to be feeding our body. As always, reach out if you have any feedback and let me know if you want a special video using the Fitball to target any particular aspect of your spinal situation. See you in the next video.